Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm Zelp and today we are talking strategies. In the first island that you start with, there are a limited amount of Temtems and there's a whole lot of journey that you still have to go through even after the first island. And there are some ways to go through those grassy areas and long distance traveling without always having to go back to the Temporium. So today I'm going to share with you some of the ideas that you can go with involving different Temtems. So the first one is to run with a Nesla. So Nesla is the one that looks like a snake but also looks like a unicorn that also kind of looks like a dolphin. Now Nesla is quite popular because of its ability to not take damage from electrical damage. Instead, if Nesla takes electrical damage, he will heal himself. Now this is a trade. That means that not all Nesla is going to have it. You have to find the Nesla that has it. So let me just open up real quick. Over here it's called electric synthesize. So if I were to check the details, it says when attacked with an electric technique restores HP instead of receiving damage. So this is what makes her one of the popular choices, especially for these long distance travel. The simple reason is that we don't really have a healing Temtem at the first island at least. So eventually after fights you are going to get injured and at some point you just have to go back to the Temporium. But with Nesla, because he can kind of like heal himself in this kind of unique way, he can still always be in the fight. Another reason why Nesla is so good is because of Chain Lightning. There aren't many AoE attacks in the game yet, and this Chain Lightning is one of the electrical AoE attack. The problem with this is that it attacks up to 3 targets, so it moves in a clockwise sequence. So this means if I were to try and show you what this will translate into, I'm gonna move the Nesla and Genki side by side. So before in the first round you saw Genki being at the left and Nestle being at the right, but now I actually moved Genki to the right and Nestle to the left. So see what happens when I use Chain Lightning on this scale. Let's just rest over here. So what you realize just happened is that Genki actually took damage, not because of scale, but because of Chain Lightning. So Chain Lightning actually damaged my Genki as well. Now, however, if I were to switch over my Nesla to my right and my Genki to my left, now something else happens. Let's see if we can get another fight. So how the attack kind of work is that it moves clockwise, right? It bounces clockwise. So if I were to use Chain Lightning on this scale, it will attack this one, and then my Nesla. And if my Nesla is injured, it's going to heal instead of taking damage. So that is how the Chain Lightning works. And it's kind of hard to pair the Chain Lightning with any other Temtem because if they do not have electrical synthesis, then they will take damage. However, there is a trade that you can use to go with her. So the other alternative, just so that you can use Chain Lightning without injuring your Temtem, is to go with someone that has a trait, like for example my Pajaro here has a trait which is called Friendship. And what this does is that it makes it impossible for allies' offensive techniques to hurt him. So therefore, if I were to move, let's say Nesla, over here and Pajaro over here. So by right, my Pajaro is going to get damage when Nestle uses Chain Lightning, but because of the trait Friendship, it doesn't hit my Pajaro. So for example, and this one can just, I don't know, pack someone. Let's pack this one. Scratch. So as you can see, my power did not take the damage. So just a quick recap, Nesla is one of the few Temtems that can kinda heal himself with electrical attacks. So this means that he can survive on the field way longer than the rest. Now Genki cannot do that, so in a weird way, if you want to like keep going out on the field over and over again without going back to the Temporium, maybe it's ideal to have two Nesla. Now the other alternative, if you do not want to go with Nesla, because Nesla is considered somewhat rare, so it's not really that easy to get one. The chances of it appearing is pretty low, and then you have to make sure that he has the trait electrical synthesis. So another way is to get Scale. So Scale has a trait called Scavenger. What Scavenger does is that it restores 20% of the max health if another Temtem is knocked. This could be the ally, this could be the enemy. And from what I showed you already, you can actually meet a lot of Scale in this particular dungeon, which is called the Windward Ford. So it's not going to be hard. Go to this first level, run around, you always meet a Scale. You do need to make sure, however, that they have this particular Scavenger trade. Now, if you really do not want to go back to the Temporium, you can actually run 2 Scale. And for the most cases, especially if relatively your level is higher, you are technically safe. So for example, in this round, I'm probably going to take a hit from the other Scale, a level 12 Scale. So it hits me by a little bit, but the moment I kill him, I'm gonna get my health regenerated. And since both my Scale has the trait Scavenger, every single enemy or even my ally, if one of my Scale dies, I will heal for 20 each. So both of my Scale will heal for 20% health. This means in a weird way that Scale can actually be pretty good or pretty tanky if you have his health maxed out or even some armor, because after all the healing is going to be in a percentage. So the more health pool you have, the more health you actually regenerate from Scavenger. Now another good point of using Scale is that they do mostly neutral physical attack, and the one that is kind of a anti-physical attack is going to be psychic type, and they are somewhat rare, at least in the first island. So in most cases you could actually wander off and just do wherever you want in different places, because if you meet a water type, they're still going to be weak against neutral physical damage. Now I feel like the drawback of using Scales is that they will evolve after 17 levels. So this means whatever level it is that you get your Scale from, let's say if you catch a level 20 Scale after 17 levels, which means when you reach level 37, it is going to evolve. And when it evolves, they lose their traits. So this goes for all the other Temtem as well. So when they evolve, they can lose their trait, which makes it such that you no longer have Scavenger, and then you can't do what you're doing. Where else the Nesla, I believe he doesn't have an evolved form, so you can actually play with him all the way until end game without worrying about it evolving. However, there is actually a way to stop the evolution. If you do not want it to evolve, while it's evolving, if you're on keyboard, you press and hold Z. If you are on controller, you press and hold Y. So right now, if you look at my second Scale, is actually taking a lot of damage. I would say a decent amount, but just by killing these two Famu, it's gonna heal up all the way back to max. So you can see how in most cases you're not going to be having any. So all you have to do, press and hold Y, and you can see that it says Scale's evolution has been cancelled, and that is how you can keep your Scale without having it turn into a I think it's called a Scrunch. But in case in the future you do want to change it into a Scrunch, or you want it to turn into something else, all you have to do is come over to its screen, and if you look down there, it says evolve. So the one that could evolve, you can actually click it and you can actually evolve it if you so want to in the future. Evolving it will give you better stats, and I think that is pretty much it. Better stats in different trades. So the drawback with using Nesla is that his attack is electric. So if you go to a place where they are strong against electrical attacks, then you might find yourself not being able to sustain your health over and over again by using Chain Lightning. Because Chain Lightning does cost a lot of stamina, and if you use too much stamina, you will end up hurting yourself. Okay, so that's pretty much it that I want to share. Two very good methods of running around in the world of Temtem without needing to go back to the Temporium. So that's it for today's video. I hope this helps. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.